Hats off to Coach Bevel and Cortland on an outstanding season. They just had tremendous success today, and we were very fortunate to play a little bit better in the second half than they did. They just had a great season. We just had a great senior class. 18 kids who have contributed a great deal over the 4-year period. We had the second and I think 5th all-time leading scorer in the history of Salisbury lacrosse on the same team. Very seldom ever happens. And with those two ingredients, we tend to win a lot of games, and I'm very fortunate to be able to coach those 18 seniors.
Questions for our student athletes?
Ty Zanders inside lacrosse. I guess Coach Berkman and Sam, talk about the pick and roll game. I know that was a huge part. It seemed like all your goals, Sam, really came in that pick and roll game, and I think that was a huge part of the win because they couldn't really defend it well. Talk about that and how much you guys practice that and why you're so good there. I know the box is definitely a huge influence there, but talk about that.
I mean, their defense was playing solid, and once they started shutting me off, we started opening up. I went and set picks. They were a little slow to slide off the picks, and we just been practicing that and close. In shooting drills, we've been practicing the pick and slips, actually rolling off that to get the shot if it's there. When it's open, we've been taking advantage of that too.
Yeah, we put a lot more of that into our game this year, and Sammy's a great player, but a lot of people don't realize he's played hundreds of box games in Canada. There's no better player to initiate, whether it's with the ball or initiate off the ball with that, and he's really helped some of our other guys that are more field players to learn how to do some of those and to make that nice little touch 3-yard pass. And he was the benefactor today a couple times of setting a pick and a quick little slip and then getting his hands as he comes out of it. You see it's within a half a second that he gets rid of the shot. But that's been practiced a lot of drills that we do this year.
Anything else, Jocko, over here?
John Connolly with the Boston Herald. Sam, can you just talk about what it is that the big stage brings out the best in you 2 years in a row? You seem to love this atmosphere, and just talk about your performance today.
Yeah, the first year I came here as a sophomore, I was sort of starstruck by it. Overwhelmed. Ever since I've been sort of relaxed and I love big competition, big games. Ever since high school, just getting into the big games, my sort of intensity goes up, and just like to give it all.
Yeah,
for Andrew and Lantz, what's it mean to go undefeated?
That's unbelievable. That's the goal every year, to go undefeated and win national championship. Last year we lost the game, we still won national championship, but nothing's as sweet as perfection.
Yeah, basically what Andrew said, Coach always said that, we had a chance to be great. We had a chance to be compared to those great teams in Salisbury, and all those teams were undefeated. So the scenes coming back, that was one of our goals, to be perfect, to be one of those great teams.
So is this one of those great teams now?
Let Coach answer that question. I think so.
Might as well.
Well, we've had some pretty special teams at Salisbury, but in the same sentence, I can honestly say that this team is right there with a couple of those other teams. The 94-95 team and the 2007 teams were pretty special, and their #1 defenses and #1 offenses and goal differential. In the same sentence, when we're talking about the best teams, this definitely is right there in the same breath.
Bruce Lurch from the Boston Herald. Lance, questions for you. Fourth quarter, Cortland had just come back to make it 11-10. Then I believe you set up Ryan Clark for a goal and scored one yourself, and then Sam kind of finished it off. Can you talk about that little fourth quarter stretch where you guys were finally able to get some extension on this?
Yeah, well, Cortland, they didn't go away. We knew that they weren't just going to give us the game. So, Sammy came off one time in the fourth, and he just told me, when you get the ball, be aggressive. They're shutting me off, and just take what they give you. So one time I came off the pick, I was driving down the side, and I just saw Ryan Clark open, passed it to me, stuck a shot. And the next time I came off the pick again, and they didn't slide off for Sammy, so I just had the whole middle to work with. So I just took my opportunity and stuck a shot. That's pretty much it.
And I guess this is for Lance and Sam. You talk about the chemistry of this first line. I know Ryan Clark's had a huge year and some teams have sort of picked their poison, some double pulled you guys. What does it say also about Lantz that a guy like you can come up and have a huge game? Just I guess overall talk about the chemistry in the first line.
I mean, yeah, having guys like Corey Nowak, Lantz, and Ryan Clark, I should say, we call him Shark. Having those guys with such a potent stick, I mean, sort of gets some pressure off me, and once you say I'm getting shut off and they start sticking their goals, takes some pressure off me and sort of opens up the game a little bit, actually a lot more. I mean, they'll stick their shots, so teams really can't just focus on me whatsoever, and they'll stick their shots when they get the opportunity.
Yeah, we know everybody, is gunning for Sammy every game. We know the target's on his back, and as his linemen, it's our job, to kind of take the pressure off of him so he doesn't feel like he has to do everything. And it kind of opens up everything for us because we're pretty dangerous at beating our guys too. So it just makes the game flow easier.
What did it mean to you guys as players for what he went through with his heart attack and to come back so soon?
First of all, I think we're very thankful that Coach Berkman's in great health. And it means, he talked about it for the first time openly today to our team and about what it meant to him and, taking things into perspective. But, for Coach to come back through that, and I know he didn't take much time off for it, he kind of pushed through the injury. That just shows the Salisbury determination. He, even though he was in the hospital, he was still sending out texts on us to get it done. I remember I texted him and I said, hey, hope everything's great. I think he texted me back, he just said, make sure you're watching film or something. So, we pick up from Berkman's intensity, and it was really good to see Coach Berkman come back from that in full health.
Yeah, Coach is our leader. It was kind of different not having him there, but we have assistant coaches that picked up where he left off and just, led the way. By our seniors too, we just led the way. We knew the way the practice was supposed to be ran. And, we even played the game without him, and we still ran the same way. So, yeah, Coach was always watching us, and we just gave it 110% because we knew he wasn't there.
Coach always says that the assistant coaches should have all unity and he should be liable on them. I mean, when he was gone, it was definitely different. But I mean, like Lance said, they were there. We never missed a beat. We were still running practices with the same intensity. We just had him in the back of our mind, knowing he would be back in full spirits right in a few weeks.
Anything else for our student athletes? No? All right, you guys can head out. I'll take a few more questions for Coach here.
What was he talking about? He said that we talked to the team openly about that for the first time today.
Well, today we were talking about season the moment a little bit, and perspective in life and enjoying everything, and they knew that I had a heart attack, but they didn't know exactly what transpired when it happened at the gym and what I went through, and I kind of shared that a little bit. The whole point of the message was that you need to live the life for the moment. You're not going to get this moment back today, and make sure you leave it all in the field. And when you take that shower at the end of the day and you look yourself in the mirror, whether we win or lose, you can honestly say that there was no regrets, and I gave it my very best effort, and that life presents a lot of opportunities, and just make sure you seize those moments.
Just along the same lines, it's got to be pretty interesting for you personally to the same year have a heart attack and live, and then go undefeated and win the national championship in the course of a couple of months. I mean, not everybody can make.
Well, let's put it this way: it's been a pretty interesting 2 months. You hope those never happen, but they did, and I was fortunate to, probably because of the lifestyle I live and being extremely healthy and extremely fit, that allowed me to overcome it. With 100% blockage, not too many people actually ever survive that. But I think because of the years of working out 6 and 7 days a week and over 100 triathlons that I've done, that the auxiliary arteries, were strong enough to pull me through. And I was eating well, and I've led that by example. And guys on the team don't come by Coach Berkman's office between 11:45 and 1 o'clock because he's working out and he's getting after it. I expect that they are, on a daily basis too. But it was definitely an interesting year. as much as you say you're trying to take a step back, take a deep breath, and not let everything bother you, I think I probably overreacted a little bit more than I should have today.
100 triathlons? You've done
I remember I was back in the infant when it first started in 1984. It was pretty strong until about 2000, doing several a year, so that was kind of a passion of mine.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, we'll do one or two more.
Coach, just it seemed like every time you guys looked to really extend the lead, Cortland would come fighting back until that fourth quarter stretch. We strung three together, and that was kind of it. You just talk about how you kept your kids up every time Cortland came back, what you talked about with them, and how they get it back.
I just think Cortland had a great year because they're very opportunistic. They have some kids that really seize the opportunities. They have a lot of kids with great lax IQs. And every time that we made a mistake today, they made us pay. We didn't get back after a shot, they made us pay. We slid up field too early on a break, and boom, next thing you know, the ball was in the back of the goal. We got backdoored on a shutoff on a ride, and then the kid just was ball watching, boom, they scored a goal. But when we settled in and we kind of took the pressure away, we kind of got away from the hard ride and we dropped into more of a silver, soft ride. It kind of took some of those opportunities away in the end. And then we moved, I think key for us, I think, was in the second half is when we moved Sellers up on number 12, because 12 was giving us a little bit of a fit. He's such a great player, but he negated him a little bit, and I think that they were really looking to him a little bit more, and somebody else had to step up, and I think we had a little bit better matchups on the other players than we did number 12 with our long stick midfielder. When Sellers was up there, I think he was able to negate him a little bit, and I think that was a critical point in the second half. And plus, AT got a few saves in the fourth quarter. He wasn't seeing the ball great today. He's had a tremendous season. But he had a few key ones in the fourth quarter, and we got stuck a couple shots to create that little difference and a little bit of cushion there at the end.
Anything else?
You just talk about just Bradman.
Sam's a tremendous player. I was very fortunate to be able to coach him for 4 years. In recruiting, we think we're scientists and we do all these secret things to get these guys, but Sam kind of fell in my hand. But why did he fall in my hand? Because I knew his dad for a number of years when I actually played at St. Lawrence, and he was the coach at Canton High School, and he knew I was a PE major because I did my internship at that school when I was doing my student teaching, and one thing led to another, and I saw him for camps over the years, and my nephew Ricky's the coach at Potsdam State. He said, always keep an eye on Bradman. He's a 4-time whatever Empire player. Sam decided to go to Hobart College in the fall, senior year, committed early, and he hadn't even visited Salisbury, but we'd had some contact with him. And about the last week in December, first week in January of his senior year, I get a call from his dad and said, "Hey Jim, Sam wants to be a coach and teacher just like me, and there's no way that we're going to go to Hobart College and be a social science major and have to pay another whatever amount of money to go to school for 2 more years to do what he does, and we really think we want to come down and look at Salisbury." He came down, he had a great time, saw practice, and he was like, "Man, this is fun." They really get after it, and kind of fell in my hand a little bit. But it was a relationship that had started numerous years. It wasn't over recruiting a kid for 2 or 3 years that he ended up at Salisbury. But he's a special player. He's one of the greatest players to ever play at Salisbury. And Lantz got some opportunities today and really capitalized. But why did he? Because a great player gives it a couple extra steps to everybody else on the field, and obviously Sam Bradman is that kind of player.
Great. Thanks, Coach.